Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and it's time for another edition of Real Talk. And man, this one's special. Usually, I've had a lot of friends on here, but tonight we have a celebrity guest. So honored to have this actor, comedian in the building. He's promoting his film Last Call. We're going to talk all about it, along with his lustrous career in the movies. So many things to go through. So excited to have my man Jamie Kennedy in the building. What's up, Jamie?
How are you, bro? Thank you for having me.
So happy to have you, man, here. So happy to have you here. How are you been, man? How's it going over there? You're in Hollywood, right? How's Hollywood treating you these days?
We're slowly opening back up, doing a lot of stuff from Zoom, as you know, and slowly opening back up.
Yeah, I heard theaters finally opened up this past week, so things are finally coming together. Movie theaters and stuff are happening, so that's exciting to hear.
I heard that was like a small percentage, right?
No, I think all of them. I think from what I heard, they were celebrating. Theaters opened up and they were all
but
cheering.
Not capacity.
Oh, not at capacity. No, I think there's still some percentage. Yeah, but at least they're open finally, which is a good sign for our industry to finally have the movies back. I'm sure you're happy about that.
Yeah, wow, that's gonna be interesting if they're gonna movies, because I thought streaming was really going to push this time. But wow, that'd be interesting if they come back.
Well, I'm curious your thoughts on that. Do you think streaming can take over all that stuff? Before I get any of it, I want to plug this because Jamie's a busy guy. I'm so happy he's here. But we're here talking about his latest film, which apparently is in theaters, select theaters around. I don't know. It might be in LA. You can check out, you can go to the website, lastcall.movie, to get more information to find your tickets, where it's playing, or you can watch it on demand, streaming, as well as, digital options to buy. But this looks really good, man. I haven't had a chance to watch. I'm excited to check it out this weekend. But it stars you, Jeremy Piven, Taryn Manning, Zach McGowan, Bruce Dern. Great cast, man. Tell us about this film. Are you proud of this one?
Yeah, I really am, because it's something that's close to my heart. You know, it's based kind of on the area which I grew up in, which is a place called Delco, Delaware County, and it's right outside of Philly. And it's about a guy who basically does really well in life and comes back, and he's got a chance to help out his old friends in his old bar. And it's got that kind of Brothers McMullen-esque type of Garden State feel, and it's a nice indie kind of comedy dramedy.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm excited to see this. It's good. Great cast. It looks like it's obviously got some humor in it as well, right? Some funny people in this, including you. Do you get to stretch more drama muscles in this, or do you get to do a little bit of everything?
It's more comedy. There's a couple little drama moments, but really it's more comedy. And it's about what we all love to do, gather from your hood, and there's a lot of ball breaking, if I could say that.
Of course, say whatever you want. This is real talk. It's funny. I'm from Philadelphia, born and raised, and a playground's where I spent most of my days, chilling out back. And I'm doing the Fresh Prince layers. But yeah, I'm from Montco, not Delco.
You're from wait a minute,
Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. I grew up in Ambler, PA. Yeah.
So then you should really be excited about this movie.
I am now. When I learned all about it, I was like, yes, sign me up.
Delco.
Yeah. Delco is like a whole thing. It's like a whole genre of things for people who are in the know of Delco, and I'm excited.
I can't believe you're from Montco.
Yeah, man. I'm born.
Wow.
And then I moved out. And then I moved out.
No accent.
I moved to. I did it till 20, and then I moved to Maine for school, and then I went to central Pennsylvania, like Harrisburg. I tried to do film school with a girl. It was nonsense. And then I was like, F this, and finally moved to Hollywood. And then I was there for 20 years. But I spent 20 years in PA, 20 years in LA, and now I've spent 3-4 years in Florida. Gotta live everywhere. Have you always, I'm curious actually, where have you always lived, sort of just, how long were you in Hollywood? But have you always just lived in either in Delco or Hollywood, or have you been able to travel the world? Do you advise people to sort of live in multiple places?
I mean, home is where your heart is, what you love to do, right? So I grew up in Philly, and I was kind of like, prisoner of my environment, in the sense I couldn't really leave anything but high school and stuff, and being home with my parents. But as soon as I could leave, I did, and that's when I moved to LA. But I've been in LA almost double the time I've been in Delco, and I still feel a very strong root to Delco. Like, LA is my home, but Delco's my roots. It's a mix. It really is. I don't know. Even though there's a lot of people that aren't there anymore, I still feel very connected to the place.
Yeah, it's sort of the people sort of help. The home is where the heart is. Yeah, you can. It's sort of who you want to be around in the communities where you're at. And everyone I knew moved out of Pennsylvania. I sort of lost more interest. My family moved all over, so it's a good way to say it. Look, I want to go through some of your films if I'm allowed. Let's celebrate Mr. Jamie Kennedy be on this stream. And if you guys are watching live, have any questions, you know how to send them over. You guys can get involved in this show, interactive. So thank you guys for showing up. I'll support. See a lot of regulars tonight. Excited that you're in here, Jamie. So thanks again. But I want to start with I think what everyone is their favorite. I'm curious if it's your favorite. We've talked a little bit about this, but Randy in Scream, man, it's such an iconic role that you got to do over multiple films, and he's kind of like what a lot of us YouTube and movie pundits have become now, is this sort of movie nerd who gets to doing it all. It's an iconic role for you. Obviously got a lot of things started for you too on a big level. Was Randy, was that easy for you to do? Were you, because you're a Hollywood expert, I know you love movies, was that easy for you to sort of fall into becoming sort of the Randy character?
I mean, well, the dialogue was just so good, and you know, it was the whole experience was just such top notch, you know, between Wes and Nev and Skeet and Matthew and David and Courtney and Kevin with the script and the producers, and it was just so many great people, and you know, Peter Demi, cinematographer, and editor Patrick Lucier. It was really just all I had to do was show up, you know, and not fuck it up. Right. And it was, yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a film expert like you guys. Like, you guys really go down and like dissect I Spit on Your Grave 3, and you'll take the outtakes and understand why that didn't make, but how it could connect to, you know, somehow connects to Texas Chainsaw, and there's a verse there. I mean, that's intense stuff. At the time for me, it was, I loved movies. I wouldn't say I was a movie head, but I loved watching movies, and I could watch 2, 3 in a row. And video was huge for me growing up. You know, one of my first movies, might have been my first movie ever. 2 or 3 movies was Nightmare on Elm Street was one of them, and I think I want to say like something called like Spring Break or some type of like TNA movie was another one, or like Class with Rob Lowe, one of those movies. And I just, once I got the VCR, it was like it was on. And but really the person that was like always talked about and still is to this day is, you know, Quentin was like the first guy to make the leap of like the student of movies and then becoming like an amazing movie maker. And I think that Randy would have studied films like Quentin.
Is there like a genre that you were more into than say horror? Like if you were to be a movie lover of certain things, like what is it? Comedy? Is it action? I love 90s action. Like, is there a genre that was more close to your heart?
I loved movies. I would say probably the number one movies I love were comedies. I mean, I love Caddyshack. I love Trading Places, yeah. 48 Hours. I could watch all of those movies. Brewster's Millions, you know, Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor, Rodney Dangerfield movies, Eddie Murphy movies. That's really what raised me. And then as I got more into videos, that's when I discovered horror. So then I went down to Nightmare on Elm Street. Then I went on the next Nightmares and the new Nightmares, and started learning more about horror and The Exorcist, and I mean, just Halloween, just most intense movies. And then I got more into like genre stuff. Like I remember watching Bloodsport. I watched that like 4 times. Then I discovered Scarface, and so I started consuming a lot more different types of movies. But I would say I was watching adult stuff like Chinatown, Midnight Cowboy 2, The Godfather. So we had like good movies for young. We didn't have like younger movies. It was like adult stuff. But I watched a lot.
Well, that's good. Do you pay attention to sort of what's going on now? Like, are you, because obviously this channel's obsessed with sort of right now the big news of the week is the Zack Snyder cut, the Justice League's comeback. Obviously the MCU is all big deal with the Disney Plus doing all these Marvel shows. Do you keep track of all this stuff at all, or is this sort of out of your you don't really pay attention to it, or do you get into that kind of stuff?
I didn't know. I know about the Snyder cut. I see the trends on Twitter, but I don't follow it. But obviously, that's incredible that the fans wanted him to have his own cut, and they got it going, and that's incredible. And it's funny because I've been doing so much press today, but it might be my YouTube read your mind or something, because it sent me like a featurette of the behind the scenes of 300, and Zach directed that, and I was like, this is so good, like 300 so ahead of its time. So obviously the man's an amazing filmmaker, so it's good that he had his vision. I saw something on Twitter that said that he commented. But anyway, anyone watching, you, Zach, I know nothing about your cut. I didn't see your cut. So whoever has that, that's not me. So.
It was cuts out. It exists. It's coming out. It's finally here.
But they said
Thursday.
You saw it or something.
Oh, well, they're mad I saw it because I don't want to get you into that drama. I wasn't even trying to start that drama.
I'm not involved.
His fan base is very passionate. I'll say it that way politely. And if you don't like the movie, some of them get very angry because they've been fighting for this movie. And to be honest, they've been ridiculed for a while, and good on them. But yeah, some of them are mad the critics got to see it before they did, and it's just sort of kicked up all this drama on Twitter, et cetera, whatever. But I don't want to bore you with all that drama. But the movie is what it is. I'm like you said, I think it's a monumental achievement for Zach, his crew, his fans, his family. It's epic. It's really unprecedented in Hollywood that a director gets to get that sort of ability to like bring their movie back, right? I mean, you.
So wait, what happened? He basically didn't get his cut, and they reshot it, so he got to make his movie.
It's so complicated. I mean, the short version is he was working on a cut, and then a tragedy happened. His daughter died, committed suicide. It was just brutal. And apparently the studio, Warner Brothers, like used that against him and like took over the movie. And you got to remember, this is 2017 when Marvel was all the rage. And Zach was doing sort of this darker take on the characters that not everybody was loving. There was clearly a fan base that loved it, but some didn't, right? And so when they got this opportunity, and he left because he couldn't deal with the fight anymore with the studio, they brought in Joss Whedon, who's like Mr. Quip, right? Does all this sort of stuff. And so Joss came in and sort of took over and tightened the movie and added his quips and reshot it and basically changed it up. And then years later, fans were always frustrated because this wasn't what Zach's vision. Like, Zach had a cut, the Snyder cut. We want to see it. We want to see it. And fans were sort of made fun of for a long time. And then finally, with the pandemic and AT&T, Warner Media overruled and was like, we're going to do it. You got a cut, Zach? All right, here's $70 million. Go finish it. Go release it. We need content. Everyone wants to see this. We need a hit on HBO Max. And they let him go do it. And I mean, it's an immense achievement that I think a lot of people thought was never going to happen. Some people were saying the cut didn't exist, all the stuff. But yeah, over the past year, he's taken that $70 million. He's finished his cut. And now it's coming out tomorrow. So it's like it's a big deal. So I mean, how movies go. Like, directors don't usually get that second chance. I mean, usually if it does, it's like decades later, like Richard Donner's Superman cut or Ridley Scott's Blade Runner cut, right? Usually it takes a while for a director to sort of get that ability, right? So I mean, it's kind of shocking that he was sort of given that in the past few years to get it. Thoughts?
I mean, well, that's just horrifically tragic, and my heart goes out to him and his family. And I never even heard any of that. I can't imagine what he's going through. But I just think that, if he made this movie now and gets some kind of like release from it, good for him. But that's just all around a very, very, very tragic story.
Totally tragic, but the fans and him are all celebrating the fact that they get to get this out there, right? For his daughter, for the family, for the fans. Like it's a celebration this week, as tragic as it absolutely was. You're right. I think fans and him are on this point. We're like, yes, we did this. Let's celebrate. And so that's part of it.
Yeah. If he gets to make it, and if he can get some kind of release from that, it'd be beautiful. Like that, some kind of closure. But oof.
So it's clearly personal out there for a lot of people, and it's hot. And I don't want to get into it. I'm just curious, though, from your perspective, all the movies you've done, like, is there a movie of yours that you think deserved a better cut? Like, do you think there was one you were on where, like, damn, we shot so much better stuff. I wish we could have gotten that version out there. Is that common for actors, like for you, when you're out there shooting all these movies?
Yeah, I mean, I could say that. You led me to the water. I got to drink it. I mean, The Son of the Mask. There's a definite better cut out there for sure. Definitely. And it would be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, Son of a Mask was an interesting one because for everyone that doesn't know, Jamie has a great YouTube channel where he breaks down sort of how he got cast in these roles and talks about these movies. I don't know if you've released the Son of the Mask one, but I know it's coming, right? If you haven't released it, it'll be there soon. But Jamie Kennedy's YouTube channel is totally worth subscribing. Mods, if you can, in fact, make sure I have it up here. Make sure you go put the link out there for me so people can go follow and check it out. But you've talked in depth about a lot of your movies, and I was curious because Son of the Mask was one I feel like, look, it has problems, Jamie, I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, there was clearly like, that had to have been massively, a lot of pressure to follow up after the Jim Carrey movie. And it could be a big movie, but then again, it's a kid's movie. Was there like a pressure? Like, is there anything you can share to tease the bigger video you have of sort of the Son of the Mask movie in itself? Like when you signed up for it, I'm sure it was exciting and great, all of promise. What went wrong in your opinion in a short version without giving away the whole movie, the video you're going to make? Is there something you can share about that experience?
Yeah, it's a very good tee up. I would say this. I would say that I say in a nutshell. So it's probably going to be. I don't want to say too much, but it's probably going to be a series. Like we're really taking our time to do it correctly. I'm going to tell me as a person that is in the eye of the storm, is the eye of the storm, possibly the storm. I don't know. I mean, so I have every bit of knowledge as much as I know, and maybe stuff that I don't know about that was hidden from me. But it was a cavalcade of many things. But the simplest answer is that the filmmakers were not empowered to make the movie that they envisioned. So Larry Guterman is a fantastic human being, a beautiful soul, and a super adept filmmaker. He's a brilliant man. He went to Harvard and he went to MIT. Do you think he knows a few things?
Yeah.
And then he went to USC. So let's repeat that. He went to MIT, he went to Harvard, and he went to USC. Okay. Hollywood is beneath him. He's smart. Okay. So then he goes and he works on, I guess he'd done a couple of shorts that were fantastic. I don't want to say he did Frankenweenie. I think that was Tim Burton's, but he did like his own version of Frankenweenie, like a really cool animated movie. It got him some love. And I know that Ron Howard absolutely loved him. And Steven Spielberg also really liked him. And he did some work on Ants. I think he directed a couple segments, and that was like one of the first early,
CGI,
Pixar-esques. And then he did Cats and Dogs, and I heard the shoot was a lot going on, but it made it, money financially. So he got, you get in where you fit in. So he got the sequel to obviously a humongous, huge property that started as kind of unknown property, and obviously Jim Carrey and Chuck Russell just made it, global. And I was fortunate enough to be cast in it. There was a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes, but basically, in a nutshell, it was like, you gave us $80 million, but there was a lot of more chefs in the kitchen, and there was a lot of decisions that we couldn't make because all the talent is there from all the different pieces, from the director to the cast to the cinematographer to the editors to Lucas CGI, the music. I mean, the costume, just so much. The producing team. So it was one of those things that wasn't really working, and there's a lot of reasons why. I can give you some specifics. And then the kid movie was really never the thing, bro. And then once they had the cut, they were like, get to the joke, get to the effect, get to the sound, boom. And it wasn't what he signed up for or I signed up for. Imagine I signed up for a movie that never was to ever try to mimic Jim Carrey. I would never try to do that, nor could I. But I have my own stylings that I made very prevalent in Malibu's and Jamie Kennedy experiments. So I had my own way of, being funny. And so the mask was going to be very little in my thing. And that's why I took it. And it was going to be around the baby and Alan Cummings and the dog and, maybe me a little bit, which when I was going to be really specific with it. And Larry wanted that. So he had me for this. He had Lucas. It's Lucas film CGI.
Yeah.
At the time. And he had, Greg Gardner, amazing DP. And his vision was like, imagine like it was Loki and Odin in it. I'm sorry, this is before Marvel. And he had like these big sweeping shots of Sydney and over the bridge and like really cinematic. And that just really wasn't the case. But in the beginning, it was like a cool, big kind of like, when you're like a kid and you see like a movie, but it's like scary, but it's not scary. It's like family friendly scary, but you're only like 7.
Yeah.
That's the type of movie he was going with. And then some adult humor. And it just, we never really got that chance to do that. It was more like get to the punchline.
And it was always Son of the Mask? Was that always the plan? Or was it Mask 2 and then it just became Son of the Mask?
It was Mask 2, Son of the Mask, I think Mask 2, Alvy's Adventure. I don't know. It's a couple titles, but Son of the Mask was one that was always around. Mask 2 was big too.
Yeah. Anyway, there are a lot of people have made fun of it, but it's got its supporters out there too. It's clearly turned into a family film. But
watch this. Let's talk about that though. There's a lot of people who's made fun of that. But let me give you 3 things I want to say to that.
Please.
It's 16 years ago. People are still talking about it. If a grown man in his mid-40s is still angry about a kid's movie, what's going on, dude? Like, I was talking about this earlier because on another pod, it's like, when I make an impression, I make an impression. Whether it's good or bad, I make an impression. So clearly I have something going on because they talk about my flops like they talk about my hits. Right? Why is this movie? It just irks people's souls. It's fascinating. It's fascinating, dude.
It's like one of they love it, right? They love the original, and then you ruined the original. It's like the Ghostbusters remake and some of the other stuff. It just people get mad. I mean, people were doing that. Zack Snyder, you ruined Superman. People get it, personal about a certain topic, and they don't like when someone comes and does it a different way. But that's a perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about next, which is another one of your amazing films, Malibu's Most Wanted. Hello, here I have it here. What a classic, and it's just fitting because be rad, right? Don't be hating. I mean, Jamie, in today's world, I mean, talk about we need another Malibu's Most Wanted in the social media world that we live in today with all the hating. But my God, can you imagine Brad living in 2021 on Twitter with all the hate and stuff that you get on the regular? I'm curious. What do you think he would say to all the world we live in right now?
I think B-Rad would not know what is happening. Like, he still feels it's like 03, 04. And he would be like, yo, appropriating, I'm appreciating. Like literally, like, he would be confused, and clearly that movie's going to get looked at under a microscope. I mean, people love it, and I love it, but now you're going to say, what does this mean? I mean, the fun police are out in full force.
Yep. Yeah, well, I'll stop you before you get to it. But yeah, it's true. Look, the Malibu's Most Wanted was great, especially a product of its time. And I think it's interesting because doing that movie in today's political climate, where B-Rad has to be more careful, could actually be really funny, especially if you just went there. There's a lot you could do. And I forgot, that was you wrote that along with a few people wrote that, but you, Nick Swartzen, like it's a really funny movie that, I mean, people still hit you up on that one as while they're hating on you for Son of a Mask. I mean, Malibu has probably got eternal love for you, right? Does that feel good to have?
Totally. Like, I'm so proud of it. And it's crazy because like, being an enemy of the state, which is just this amazing movie that holds up. Three Kings, which is just like ahead of its time. Boiler Room, which was just like pre Wolf of Wall Street. Scream, but Scream is still every day someone hits me up about it. And then Malibu's, which is my baby. The fact that that's one of the loudest, most talked about things in my career is a real honor, because I had help in its inception, and it's beautiful. And I think that it's kind of crazy that people come up to me for that movie so much, and I'm very fortunate, And I'm like, because I've been in some really cool stuff, and it's how it is, and the whole thing is you got to make a joke. You make points with jokes, and that's what comedy is, and it's big, it's loud, it's a fish out of water, and we swung for the fences.
As you say, the fun police, I'm curious because I don't want to get you in trouble. I know a lot of people are worried in today's climate with the fun police. But do you find it easier to be freeing, because you do stand-up still too? Is it more freeing on a stage to sort of get away with some of the stuff in today's culture, or than it is in a movie? Or do you find yourself get nervous in either spot?
I would think it's a movie would be easier because you could just say it's scripted, right?
Sure.
But I would say, yeah, it's definitely harder when you're doing stand-up because it's you, right? It's your voice, and but then you have to say, well, it was a joke, and then people are like, well, that's just not a right joke. So here's the bottom line: it's great because we're in such a polarizing, split diopter place. It is. You've got people that are. You basically just imagine there's 8 billion people, whatever we have on the planet. Imagine almost 8 billion of them have the ability to cry foul, and they can show the rest of the 8 billion. That never existed until 15 years ago. So all these people were always going to be mad at every movie I did, or always going to be mad at this, or always going to be mad at every joke. No one ever heard them. So what's being exposed is a lot of people that don't have a sense of humor, and the world is filled with a lot of humorless people, and that's okay. But there's a lot of people that enjoy humor, and so that is a voracious side to match the voracious side that wants to stop it, and it's kind of split, dude. It's not going to change. It's not going to get better. But I was going to do a video about it, but I'll talk a little bit on here, because you're such a Hollywood dude and you're very, very intelligent. And I had
thank
this
you,
thing
Jamie.
on my YouTube channel. Well, you are, what you're talking about. And Hollywood's dying. It just is. I don't care what you say. Look at the Golden Globes are down more than 60%.
Mm-hmm.
The Grammys were down almost 60%. We are just in a worldwide thought process of like, what's really important? Who cares? It's like, and there's guys like you that going, you know what? I like Roger Ebert, but I want to have my own opinion. He's not speaking to me, or I like so-and-so. So everyone is making their own things. Hollywood is still going to have its thing, but a lot of people are going to be like, I'm going to watch a YouTube creator. I watch some of my best documentaries on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I think that the general population's appetite of being dictated to of what they want to consume is done. It is done. And we can say, oh, we're going to go back to all this stuff. Sure. I'm telling you, maybe I'm a bitter old man. I don't know. I don't think I just feel something switched.
Well, it's interesting because you talked about in the beginning. I want to go back there because our movie theaters dead, because it's like I can't see it ever really dying, but at the same time, streaming really has changed the game. I mean, streaming has changed the game so much, Jamie, that I'd be surprised if you couldn't get Malibu as most wanted to. I mean, it depends what studio and what streamer they own, right? But it's like everyone's just dying for IP. Oh my God, you hadn't made a movie? Great, let's get like there's no creativity left anymore. Hollywood is dying. I agree, and they're just scratching back on to like what have we made already? How do we make 10 more of those? And let's just put it in streaming. Who cares about the theater industry? And I think they're losing focus. You're right. There's so much content on digital, which I'm not going to deny is the future. But come on, when this is all said and done, we're going to want to go back to the movie theaters. Like, we're going to want that communal experience, I think. Do you disagree? Do you think the theater world could be on its last legs now that we've sort of experienced the last year with the ease of clicking it at home?
I mean, look, I got to TCL TV up there with a killer sound bar for $600. It's 79 inches or 75 inches or whatever. Dude, I can put on Endgame and feel like I'm at Man's. You know what I mean? I think I love Cinerama Dome. I love the Chinese Man's Chinese Theater. I love it, but I don't know. Like, time is money, you know. Like, I don't need to go. I don't need to drive. I don't need to do this stuff. That's me. You know, I can watch something on a big TV. I'm not a purist, and there are purists. I think movie theaters are always going to exist. I think obviously you got, you know, there's this nice summer night. You're going to go to the super movie theater, to the 4X, and it's all that cool stuff. You want to experience a super humongous event movie in that, yes. But a lot of it, I think you can consume right from your home. And quite frankly, dude, you know, anybody under 20 is like, I got my phone, and then I'll watch anything. And it's just different. And I'm, you know, people don't want to accept it, but it's innovation, man.
But you're not like Christopher Nolan. You're not like, oh my God, how dare you watch my movie? Malibu's Most Wanted on your phone. You're just like, watch it wherever you want to watch it.
Well, Christopher Nolan is one of the greatest filmmakers to ever do it. And his movies are almost, you can almost have zero dialogue and you can follow his movies. It's like, they're so cinematic. I mean, he really does he tells a story through pictures. I mean, he's a super filmmaker, obviously. He's incredible. So I understand what he's saying. And I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I think there's going to be those. But I also think there's going to be, like how Amoeba Records is. I think you're going to have hipster spots. And I think it's going to be like there's some retro feel. But I don't know. If the economics cannot withstand it, it won't happen. The economics have to withstand it, because if it's going to lose money, Hollywood ain't going to do it. Now, I don't know what the general pop is, but like, I do know it's a weird year, but like a lot of the Oscar movies, I have to see them all, you know? And so it's like, how many of mainstream have they reached critical mass, you know? So I don't know. All I'm saying is the general population's attention span is not just as focused as much on Hollywood as Hollywood thinks it is.
It's true. You mentioned the Oscar now. I'm still behind. Like, I haven't made time to watch Mank. I love David Fincher. I want to see it, but it's like, I have some of these options, but I have so much content in front of me at my disposal that it's hard to fit them all in now. It's becoming a different game. But I want to say, you have the option to see in either theater or at home Last Call, which Jamie's here to promote. And as more of you have come in, I want to make sure we promote it again. I want to thank Jamie for being here. We got about 20 more minutes with him. So if you guys want to send over questions, I want to get to some. I have some building up, and I'll ask you. But guys, please, if you can, mods, send the link out to the lastcall.movie. Wonderful movie that Jamie's got coming out in theaters this Friday, the 19th, or on demand. So either way, if you want to support the theaters and go see it on a big screen, you can. You can click on Get Tickets to see if it's available in your area, or you can watch it at home. Lots of options digitally to purchase, rent, I imagine. Click there to see all your options. But Jeremy Piven, Bruce Dern, Jamie Kennedy, Taryn Manning, wonderful cast, really good performance, it seems, from everybody. Good comedy, drama. It means a lot to Jamie. So guys, do me a favor and go support Last Call. Check it out this week if you can, and thank him for being here. In fact, getting to some of these comments, I'm going to join right to Slevin. Thank you, man. I'm absolutely loving this, Jamie. You're the man, bro. Thanks for taking the time to do this. I've been a fan since I was a kid, and I wish you the best. Well, that was very sweet of you, Slevin. Thanks for sending that over for Jamie. And then we got another hype sticker for it. I appreciate that, Sal. And then we had a question from Tamika. What about Tremors 5? Spoke to Jamie. Those movies are so much fun. You've done 2 Tremors films. I think there's another one that you're not in. Is it possible you could still come back to that franchise? Do you want to? How was your experience with Tremors?
I was thinking about it. Like, I'm actually really lucky, you know, like 90s. I was in like quintessential 90s movies.
While you're saying that, I'm gonna put up your IMDb, because I think people just don't even realize. I think I've seen a lot of comments like, "Oh my God, Jamie was an Enemy of the State," and they forget, because you've had such an iconic filmography. But yes, keep going. I'm gonna scroll through some as you're talking about it.
Yeah, so it's like I've been in, you know, like iconic 90s movies, and then early aughts to mid aughts comedy in my own Comedy Star, and then, you know, the later aughts I was more TV and pop culture, but still out there in a big way in the public eye. And then, you know, the early 2010s, more indie and some B movies and stuff, but then more quality television. And then I got Tremors, and Tremors is like another part of Americana. I would say, dude, I would say Tremors is, when the aliens come, there's a good chance that Tremors is going to be one of the artifacts. Do you know what I mean? Like the Scream mask
And Tremors.
Tremors, like they'll be like beep, boop, bloop, Tremor. Like it is just, it's one of those things, meaning like Tremors. You know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Scream. You know what it is. You know, there's not many things like that. So in each decade, I've had some of these pop culture touchstones, and Tremors has been very good to me in the 2010s. And that, like, I'm lucky to be a part of the mask, whether you like it or hate it. But that's that decade, and Scream, obviously, that's 90. That's that decade, and Tremors was that decade for me. And
I just love that
it's
Michael.
wonderful to be a.
I love that Michael Gross got a franchise. You know, it's like such a nice little thing for him. Yeah.
Here's the thing: the movies are much better than they should be for a direct to consumer movie, like direct to DVD, if you will, direct to stream. They're awesome. Like Don Michael Paul, I can't say enough, man. He is a one-man wrecking crew, from writing to directing to editing. He knows what he wants, and he writes in the 90s, early 2000s, like action comedies, you know. And Michael Gross is such an iconic actor and figure as Burt Gummer. So he's just known. Everyone knows Burt Gummer. So I always said to the studio, and I really pushed for it, you know, but like the business model is such that, you know, they have multiple business models at Universal, and one of them is direct to consumer content, and Tremors is very high on their list for that. But I believe, since we made the movie for $3 or $4 million, and you put $8 million in marketing, I guarantee the movie could open up to $10 million. You put it out in a weird January weekend, it would have, and I would have got some shine off of that, because it holds up. It looks like big action. I mean, we did a lot of practical stunts in that, dude. So it was great. It was hard work. It was because I would just work and fall asleep and work. It was intense, man. But it was awesome. I became like a tougher dude.
Is there more to the franchise? Is that something you would do more of, or is it possible? Anything's possible?
You know, I want to do one of my videos on it. It's just, it's a tread lightly situation because of why I wasn't in the last one. But since you guys are such movie fans, that, you know, there are some reasons why I wasn't in the last one. And, you know, I believe what I brought to that series was really interesting. I think some of the purist fans just didn't like me in it, which just was like, why? Like, what? Just that.
Don't be hating. Exactly.
No, it's just like, shut up. It's just like, shut up. Like, clearly it has all these reviews and people love it on Amazon. So what are you crying about? But then a lot of new people love me in it. Right. But one of the reasons, you know, I wasn't in it is just different reasons. But I don't know enough about the last one. I heard it's good, and I didn't see it. And I heard some stuff happen that I don't want to know because I want to watch it myself. And I don't know. I mean, dude, everything is everything, right? Everything is revived. So I think if you're popular enough in something that people want to see it, to somehow figure how to get you back. And I mean, I'm Burt Gummer's son, so that's got to mean something.
So clearly there's more to the story, and it's a good plug again to go to Jamie Kennedy's channel, Mods. Make sure everyone knows how to get to Jamie's channel there. But you can stay tuned. He does a great series, and he gets really into in-depth insight on these movies. Some of the masks coming, a lot of stuff's coming. I look forward to the Tremors installment as well. So go show Jamie some love and hit that subscribe over there. We had another comment coming in from David. Thank you, David. Loved you in Scream. What's it like to work with Bruce Dern? I mean, that must have been an amazing experience. Did you have a scene with him? In Last Call?
Yeah, I had a couple scenes with him.
We're talking Bruce about Dern. Last Call, the new movie that's out. Go check it out this Friday. But yeah, what was it like with Bruce Dern?
Bruce is like Mount Rushmore, man. He's one of our last greatest ever to do it. He touches all the way back to the actor studio in New York City. I mean, like Marlon Brando, James Dean, all the way up to today, all the way up to Jamie Kennedy. I mean, it's like this guy has been in so many iconic things, and he's such a good dramatic actor, but he's really just an amazing actor. He's a great improviser, and he's one of the few people that you'll ever watch in a movie, you'll never see a false moment, and he's a plethora of knowledge, man. I have to give you 5 more hours in your pod to tell you some of the stories. This guy, he worked with Elia Kazan, dude.
Yeah. Well, is it easy to like bring that up to him, or do you feel like at a certain point you're like, all right, I'm going to ask him. You know what? I'm going to ask him about.
You have to.
He just does.
He does.
Oh, it's so cool.
He'll do something in a scene, and it'll remind him of something. He'll be like, I remember when we were working on this picture. I mean, he's done it all. So he'll draw another experience from another movie, and he'll be like, oh, Once Upon a Time, I feel like this moment here, and it's incredible. Like, he's in The Great Gatsby. He was in so many John Wayne movies. Like, it's incredible. And then he birthed Laura, which is another whole.
That's an achievement.
Well, no, it's just, she's an incredible actress, and it's like. He's just incredible, but he's a generous man. He doesn't have to be. He's a real artist. I was very blessed. It was like a super career highlight.
Yeah, you've done a lot. There was someone had asked. Oh wait, I have it here. Oh yeah, here it is. Because you've worked with so many amazing people in your career. It's been what an experience you've been able to have. But someone was curious here. How much fun did you and Jack Black have on the set of Enemy of the State? Thank you, Chris, for sending that over. Alfred, what was it like working with Jack Black in that scene?
I feel like they just came from my Reddit.
Did they?
Somebody asked me my Reddit thing, so I left a good. I should just let the Reddit answer be on Reddit, and they can go check on the Reddit, right? Because I did an AMA today.
I imagine it was fun.
I had it. Jack. I could tell you 2 Jack Black things. It was it was like, remember in the 90s, there was always a way to get the title back, like into the movie, like a character says it. I feel like that was a 90s thing.
Sure.
And Jack was like, so like. Subtle, but meta. So sometimes you just don't know if he's joking or not. Like, he's just so meta and so funny. And he was like, we could improvise a lot in that movie, and that was another just big playground. Like
Tony Scott, right, directed that. What an amazing.
Such a serious movie, but such a fun experience.
Yep.
It's amazing. Some of the most intense movies on screen are the funnest experience, and some of the like funniest movies are like the most intense. So, and that was like a super fun. I mean, Tony Scott is, God rest his soul, just a class of class. I mean, he's a beautiful soul. And so we would improvise, and I remember Jack was there, and we were doing something, and we're like looking at Will Smith, and he was like, Will Smith's character just kept traversing, and we like could never catch him. And he's like, "Who is this guy? He's got some like special powers." He's like, "This guy's like some enemy of the state." And clearly Jack was playing and moving, but I was like, he's like, you gotta get the title in. And I think we all laughed, but like Jack was joking, but like I don't know if they ever used it, but I remember he did that, and I was cracking up.
Like
I don't know if it was rehearsal or not. And he got it, but it would have worked. I don't think it was in there, but it would have worked. And another thing I remember, we were doing some reshoots, and then he was asking me, I think he was in I Still Know What You Did, right? I Still Know. I think Jack.
I Still Know What You Did last summer. Okay.
And he was like, "You're a horror guy. Should I go to the Bahamas and like do this? And he was like, "They want me to have dreads." I remember he said that to me, and I was like, "I don't know. That sounds good." He's like, "Yeah, I still know." Come on, man. You're a horror guy. Should I do it? Like, I remember him asking me that, and I was like, "Yeah, you should go to the Bahamas. Put on dreads or whatever." I remember he had a part. I think he had dreads. Maybe I'm wrong, but
you helped to make that happen. He almost wasn't in that movie if it wasn't for you.
I encouraged it. I think he did that movie. I don't have my idea. I'm pretty sure he did the movie, but I was like, you should do it. But I can't say I picked that.
Yeah, he has his own YouTube career now. Jablinski Games, he's blowing it up with his kid, doing all those amazing YouTube videos and Instagram videos. It's amazing. We have a couple more. Let's burn through as we got 10 more minutes, guys. If you want to send over quickly, we'll do rapid fire with Jamie here. Myra, thank you, Myra. Did you have any experience? Did you experience any type of typecasting? Yes, no.
Yeah, you can look at me in the '90s, and I remember I did a movie called Bait with Jamie Foxx, and they said it was like kind of a ripoff of Enemy of the State, and they said Jamie Foxx is in the Will Smith role, so and so is in the Gene Hackman role or something, and Jamie Kennedy is in the Jamie Kennedy role. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? It was like basically because I was like a hacker. I played a couple computer hackers, and that was like a big thing in the late '90s. And so then that's why I talked to my agent. I'm like, come on, man, I gotta get a different role. I mean, I'm happy to be in these movies, but so that's when we started looking at TV. But
interesting.
My brother is a super hardcore like government, like studies all that shit. He's like, this movie is so ahead of its time, and today he's like, this movie is still ahead of its time, dude. Like none of this stuff is totally happening yet, but it's happening. People just don't realize it. Enemy of the State is definitely predictive programming. That's all I'm gonna say.
Nathan Taylor also, sorry, Nathan, you just asking, but I was just getting to you. Can you ask Jamie, did he meet Drew Barrymore while he was promoting Scream? Because you guys weren't in the same scene, but did you get to have any experiences with her?
No, I never did. She was up there the week before, and she like had her own little like movie. I don't know what was the deal. I think they had their own schedule, and I think that whole scene was like a whole week with the kitchen and the murder, and it was like a totally its own little intimate set. But once I found out she was in it, and then I found out she was going to be killed, I was like, this is going to be so sick. Like
yeah.
People are really going to be thrown for a loop.
Yeah, she was a big get, and to kill her off in the beginning, people didn't know. This was early before, and like that was an amazing sort of fun get that she was going to be the first killing off Drew Barrymore, which they put her on the poster, made it look like it was part of the movie. It was a really great tease that he did. I mean, we could probably talk all day about Wes, so I won't even go there. You've done it so much, but what a legend, man! That must have been such an amazing experience just to have those films with him. And you've talked about this a bit, but I do want to go there. You've already answered it too, but the 25th anniversary, they're doing a reboot. You even said in this article I have here, yeah, Randy could have a twin. He could have faked his death. He could have been a mastermind. People say all the time he could have been so paranoid he knew how to fake his death and go into hiding. It's a funny idea, but you're apparently not in the new one. I guess that's what you have to say. But would you come back? I mean, do you feel like I'm
deader than dead?
Jamie, anybody could come back to life nowadays in these movies, but
and videotape is dead, so even that I can't come back on.
You talking about streaming movies, all that? Like, look, man, I've watched them all. I've seen Cobra Kai 1,000,000 times.
I mean, look, obviously, the people ask for it. You know, obviously, popular characters coming back and things is all the rage, and clearly, I would want that. It's a career-defining a role. You know, to this day, we're 25 years later, and we're talking about it like it yesterday, and like. Yeah. What's going to happen, so clearly it has had a lot of effect on people and me, and of course I would like to do it, but
it's hard.
That's why Scream is good, because it kills characters that you like, and that's what makes it impactful.
Right, the death means something. There's stakes. Unlike some Marvel movies these days that we make fun of. We had another one here for Bunda. Thank Bunda. Bunda was saying, you were in Romeo and Juliet. Did you have any interactions with Leo? What was it like with Leo, Jamie?
Yeah, I had a ton of interactions. It was awesome. I mean, I was like, I was 7. I think I was number 8 on the call sheet, and that was my first movie. I did one little indie before that, but that was my first movie. I like being on a set, and with a huge global, he was already a huge star, but he was about to become a global icon, and we could all feel it. And and this wildly inventive director and his whole team.
Yeah.
I was very lucky, because it was like how the movie looks is how it was shot. It was fun. It was free. It was loose. It was never any tempers or voices raised. It was a lot of fun was encouraged. I was kind of blessed and very protected. And, there was some tense times, like just learning, scared of making a mistake. So I was pretty much on my P's and Q's. I mean, Leo was awesome. He's Leo. What can I say?
He's a pro. Is it weird, like watching him turn it? Like you said, you could see it, but like, is that true? You really mean that? Like,
yeah,
you could just tell when you work with somebody like that. Sometimes
he's he always has this energy. He's younger than me, but he has an energy about him that is magnetic, and he's one of I work with a few people, and it's very rare what he has. It's like this. You're drawn to him. You want to see what he does. You're fascinated how he works. Watching him in a scene, I'd watch him work when I was not in the scene. I'd watch him when I wasn't even on the scene that day. I would just come by, and he has this magnetic that's why he is who he is, and everybody could feel it.
Fascinating how that works. Was there anybody else you worked with where you could sense that was going to happen? Because you've been all over. Is that like even Jack Black to a degree, right? He turned into another massive celebrity after, I guess it was Shallow Hal really took him that next level. Is that something you felt like you could notice? Is that something that's easy to spot or not always?
No, it's a feeling, Yeah, Jack obviously has his own amazing energy. When he gets in front of the camera, he's electric. He's so hilarious, but also always believable. I think it's when you get in these, what I call these rare airs, that you start sensing it, like George Clooney on Three Kings is just so available to you and so cool. But, he's George Clooney. He is another person with that energy, and Brad Pitt. I did, even though I got cut out of the movie Ad Astra. And
that's right. You were in that. Yeah, you were in a part of that.
He has that energy of someone who is, you're like, oh, it's Brad Pitt. And even though you start working with him, you're on a set and it's like you're working, there's still the energy that comes off the people that make them Brad Pitt or make them Leo or make them George. Mark Wahlberg has it. Cube has it. Jack Black has it. Helen Hunt has it. I mean, there's too many to name, but like certain, but Leo is his own thing, man.
Yeah, and so is Jamie. Jamie, you're your own thing as well. But it's just sometimes even people get just it's crazy. He's at a level I think every actor dreams of. And it's good for him. It's well earned. Paul asked, "Loved you in Scream, Did you feel your role was suited to your own personality as a film nerd?" You might have tuned in late, Paul. We did talk about that. He was like he's a movie nerd. He likes his movies, but nearly not like us, not like Randy. Different movies. And then we had another one. Myra was asking, just to make sure I burn through these as we wrap up. Is there a movie you wish you could redo? Is there one that you're like, you know what? I mean, we talked a little bit about Son of the Mask. There's clearly a release, Jamie's cut, the better cut of it, as you'll get into more depth on YouTube. Was there any other film you're like, yeah, you know what? That was good, but we could have done it even better?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's, like, obviously Son of the Mask, I'd like to make things a certain way. I think that the specials was really good. It was ahead of its time. It wasn't, I wouldn't redo it. I would just like market it more. You know what I mean? Because there's so many big players in it that came out of that movie, and we all knew we had something. It was just a matter of getting people to see it, But I think of like other roles, like, like, what if there was a time when they were making a lot of like TV shows to movies, and I went in for Shaggy a couple of times, and Matthew is amazing at it. He's perfect. But I was like, well, what if I got Shaggy? Where would my career have gone in there, Or like Gilligan's Island. That we almost got. I almost was Gilligan. I don't know if a lot of people know.
Yeah, I could see you doing the Gilligan. That would have been fun. Yeah.
In the late 90s, dude, that's all people, they were like, that's Gilligan. They were all on me for that. And it was like, I'm like, do I really want to do this? But it was like the Brady Bunch was big and it was going to have that type of tone. And that could have worked. And by the late 90s, before I'm 30, possibly my own, comedy vein in that way. So you think of different paths you could have had, or if I did, because I got the offer to be in, that movie, Without a Paddle. And I was like, if I did that instead of Son of the Mask, how would that have gone? So there's a lot of stuff that you go in and then you wonder and, whether it works or whether it doesn't. But, that's why I like, there's a great TV show called Devs, and I have no skin in the game. It's amazing. Everyone should watch it. I'm really big into Multiverse. And it's really well done, and it's by Alex Gardner. I believe it's the guy who did Ex Machina. And Devs, Devs. It's a series, and it's on Hulu.
Oh, series, okay.
And it's so dope. But it's basically like,
oh yeah, okay.
You basically live this choice. Alex Garland, excuse me.
Is that Nick Offerman?
Yeah, it's Nick Offerman.
Oh
incredible,
man, I love him. Yeah, he's amazing.
Total drama, and basically it shows you like how you could still do this decision as you're doing this decision. So I think like, if life becomes the multiverse and Spider-Man is becoming the Spider-Verse, that's what movies are, the movieverse. And I think that's Cobra Kai does it brilliantly. Like Cobra Kai is so brilliantly done. And I'm not a film nerd or expert. Why is it so brilliantly done? Well, let me tell you why. It's because it's got me questioning everything. And that is an example of a fucking amazing executive. Talk about like film, like, super purist. I mean, these guys studied it so much, figured out what they wanted, and now you're rooting for Danny. You're rooting for Danny, and you're wondering why he was. You're realizing he's the victim. That's what Cobra Kai is. It's
true.
Showing you.
He's
not
the
Daniel
bully,
LaRusso. What's it? Johnny. Johnny is the victim, and it just shows you POV. And that's what Dev shows. It shows you different POVs and stuff.
Yeah, it's Alex Garland, who I'm a huge. He did Ex Machina. He's brilliant.
Incredible. Yeah. It's happening, by the way. It is happening. If you're into quantum computing and quantum supremacy, Google has announced that, and that's all it is. It's about Silicon Valley. But it's kind of happening.
He wrote Dread too. I forgot. Yeah, Alex Garland. So anyway, Devs is a good one to check out. So much to check out, including as we wrap this up now, because I know you got to go. The one to really check out is Last Call, which Jamie's here promoting, and I'm so grateful for you to be here this hour talking with us, going back through your films. Go ahead.
I'm in a documentary called The Last Blockbuster that's now on Netflix, and that's
you're in that. I'm meaning to watch it. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I'm in that.
It's been around for a while, but yeah, there was a press getting around because Netflix picked it up. Ironically, did you know that, Jamie, that Netflix tried to sell to Blockbuster tried to buy Netflix. Netflix offered it for like $400 million or something. It was a very low price, and Blockbuster could have bought them. And apparently, Netflix was only created because of a late fee he didn't want to pay Blockbuster. It's like when you really go through and realize what happened in that world, it's just like, man, that's crazy. Because Netflix was a Blockbuster, guys. It was just a digital Blockbuster where you had to send the discs back in the day, and that's how Reed Hastings made it. And then quickly over time, he's like, wait a second, we built this first. We got to take advantage of this, so that the whole game changed. So to see that they now get to have the Last Blockbuster documentary on Netflix, it's just a sweet irony at the end of the day, which is crazy. But you can check it out. Check it out, guys. It's on Netflix. And then again, like I said, as we wrap this up, I'm going to stay with you guys live. I got some other, we're going to bring in some of my pals. We'll talk about this and some other stuff. But before Jamie goes, Last Call, it's in theaters on demand now, March 19th, the end of this week. Jeremy Piven, Taryn Manning, Bruce Dern, wonderful cast. Check this out, guys. Support Jamie for coming on here. He's doing impressive day, but go show this movie some love. You can get tickets at lastcall.movie. You can watch at home. Lots of ways you can view this film. Show some independent film some love. That's really what needs it. give Netflix a break for a minute and show the indies what they need. Jamie, my man, such a fan of you. Thank you so much. Interns Afield is where we met, and you came in, and as we talked about in the Hugging the Cactus episode, you were so fun in that show. Thank you so much for doing that and staying in touch. You guys can catch him up doing stand-up virtually and hopefully at some point soon in person. And again, like I said, support his YouTube channel. Make sure you go subscribe here. The mods have been putting the link out there as well. Support Jamie's YouTube as he goes and tells you more of these stories ongoing. Jamie, always such a pleasure to talk to you. Any final words you want to offer to the crowd as you go?
Just, if you want to subscribe, come over to my YouTube page. Check me out on my Instagram, the Jamie Kennedy. Come and see our movie. It comes out this Friday, Last Call. It's a great time to see new original movie. And, hang in there. We're going to get through this and try to be good to each other.
Slevin asks one last question, which could be we could start a hashtag for you, Jamie. Is there a Marvel or DC character that you'd want to play? Is there anyone we can rally behind you and make it happen, Jamie? Is there a character out there that you're like, you know what? Aside from Gilligan, which we just learned about, is there another one out there you're like, you know what, guys? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know one, but I'd have to
You're
find
like, Annie,
one.
please. Yeah, please find one.
But something like, I said this, somebody asked me this earlier today. I was like, someone with a very sharp wit, with a voracious appetite for world domination.
Oh, I like that, guys. So nerds out there, fellow nerds, find it out for Jamie. Jamie, such a pleasure to have you here. I know you got more to do, so thank you for stopping in and being so generous with your time. Everybody throw some planets and applauses over for Jamie Kennedy, the master actor, comedian, such a good guy. Jamie, always good to talk to you. You know I'm here if you ever need anything to promote or say anything. Drop in anytime. And thank you again for coming in, man.
Thank you for having me, brother. Be safe.
You too, man. Talk to you soon. And again, everybody, as Jamie's exiting, don't forget, please support the movie Last Call. It's available this Friday. You can check it out. Go give it some love. And thank you, guys. If you're watching live, don't go anywhere. I'm not leaving you. Just snipping this for the YouTube sake, so that way people can see the full Jamie interview. But we got lots more to talk about. I had some drama today. We're going to get into that. Lots more, so stay tuned. If you're watching live, don't go anywhere. I'll be right with you. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Stay tuned. Thank you, Jamie.